People always say the sky's the limit, but most of them have never had a door slammed in their face before they even got close to the runway. That's exactly what happened to Elena Crossia, the woman who'd spent half her life believing flight wasn't just for men with square jaws and names sewn on their jackets. It all started on a Thursday, in a hangar so bright it made your eyes water, with a crowd of cocky trainees and a fighter jet polished, so clean you could see your future in it if you were one of the chosen ones. Elena wasn't, or so they thought. She walked in with nothing but a white blouse, a pair of faded jeans, and a set of old fighter pilot wings pinned just under her collar, didn't say a word, didn't crack a smile. She just set her application down in front of Colonel Radique, a man who'd seen too many Top Gun reruns and probably thought diversity was a salad ingredient. Name? He grunted without looking up. Elena Cross. 500 hours logged. Here for the F-47 evaluation. He actually laughed, one of those loud, ones that bounce off metal and stick in your ears. The guys nearby snickered. Someone muttered, "Maybe stick to flying the blender, sweetheart." Another one lifted his phone and started filming, because of course he did. Radique didn't bother to read her application, just crumpled it up and tossed in the trash, then spilled coffee right down her chest and said, "Oops, reflexes matter in the cockpit. Looks like yours are a little slow." The liquid soaked through her shirt. She didn't flinch, not even a blink. "Security," he called, "escort this civilian out. Women like you don't belong in the sky." The guards took her by the arms. She just smiled, small and sly, and let them walk her out. That's when Radique should have known he'd messed with the wrong person. Elena went home to her tiny apartment across from the naval base, surrounded by rejection letters, training manuals, and the wings that once belonged to her grandfather, a real pilot, a real hero. She could have cried, could have ran it online like everyone else, but instead, she just opened her acceptance letter again, the one stamped with the FAA seal. It didn't say maybe. It said, "Welcome." She wasn't leaving. Not now. Not ever. Next morning, Elena walked back through those academy gates wearing the same blouse, clean and pressed, coffee stain and all. Security tried to stiffen up, but she slid them the letter with the FAA signature and said, "Unless you want to explain to the federal board why you violated Title IX protocol, I suggest you step aside." They did, and she was in. Radique wasn't there, but Captain Reeve, the kind of guy who actually looked you in the eye, raised an eyebrow. "Didn't you get tossed yesterday?" She handed him her FAA medical clearance. He shrugged, gave her the week 1 binder, and just like that, she was back in the game. The real test started then, and I don't mean the written ones. Those were easy. Elena finished first every time. No, the real test was humiliation by 1,000 cuts. Someone left a whisk and a pink post-it on her desk. "You forgot your tools." Her name tag got swapped for Mrs. Coffee. In the simulator, everyone else got blue skies, but her settings were dialed up to hell crosswinds, emergency failures, radio blackouts. She flew through it all. Never complained. Never let them see her sweat. Slowly, the instructors started noticing. It wasn't just the high scores. It was the way she kept her cool when everyone else freaked out. One night, during a solo emergency simulation, everyone else crashed or panicked. Elena pulled power manually, read the airflow on the window, and landed the virtual jet with 2 seconds to spare. Silence. Someone whispered, "Who is she?" That's when Captain Reeve started watching her closely. He noticed her grip on the throttle, her instinctive movements. One dawn, he found her watching the real F-47s take off. "You've flown something like this before," he said. "I designed half its software interface," she replied. He laughed, thinking she was joking. She didn't. The other trainees couldn't break her, and that drove them nuts. Brad Foster, the biggest ego in the room, tried to rattle her in a group sim, but she corrected his throttle in front of everyone. He snapped, "She's probably just memorized all the scenarios." Elena looked up and said, "Some of US don't need to guess." Midway through the program, the Academy hit her with a sudden $5,000 tuition discrepancy, pay by Friday, or you're out. She didn't blink, just took out an emergency loan and kept going. Then came the psych exam. Only Elena was asked if she was prepared for what this'll do to your reproductive system. She shot back, "You asked the men about their testicles?" No answer. And when a nasty blog post popped up, all anonymous sources and blurred photos, claiming affirmative action was ruining flight training, she almost quit. Instead, she reread her grandfather's last combat mission log. Courage isn't loud. It's consistent. She kept going. Finally, the list came out for live flight tests on the F-47. Brad, Michael, and Kevin, all guys, all mediocre, got picked. Elena didn't. She stood on the tarmac, clipboard in hand, watching Brad swagger to the jet, cameras rolling, execs sipping lattes, and pretending to know tech. Captain Reeve muttered, "You deserve that seat." She was already watching Radique and the engineer whisper. She heard the engineer warn about a bug in the fly-by-wire system above 32,000 feet, the kind of bug that could kill a pilot. Radique waved him off. "Just hope he behaves." Elena stepped in. "You can't send him up without warning. I'm the woman who wrote the stabilizer algorithm 3 years ago, the one you ignored." The engineer went white. Radique stammered, "We can't cancel Senator Foster's son." "Then let me fly after him." "Quietly. Show the fix." Silence. Finally, Radique nodded. "You go up last. But it doesn't change your status." "I'm not here for status," Elena said. "I'm here to save lives." Brad went up and, predictably, showed off climbing too high, pulling risky maneuvers. The jet jerked, systems failed, alarms blared. Brad panicked. Elena, cool as ice, grabbed the radio. "Brad, this is Cross. Manual override. Thrust to 40. Left rudder. Ignore the onboard correction. Trust me." After a long silence, manual engaged. 40%. Left rudder. The jet steadied. He limped back, landing hard but alive. The whole place fell silent. Radique turned to Elena. "Get in the second jet." No speeches, no drama. She suited up, touched her granddad's wings for luck, and took off. At altitude, she deliberately triggered the failure, then fixed it live, climbing higher and pulling a maneuver nobody else dared. When she landed, the chief engineer came running. "How'd you do that?" "I built the solution years ago. It was shelved because you didn't like the name on the proposal." "And the name was?" "Elena Margaret Cross." Now, they saw her really saw her. She didn't celebrate. Just walked back, steady and calm. Radique faced the press. Today's events revealed unacceptable oversights. Miss Cross delivered the most technically flawless performance in our Academy's history. He didn't apologize, but he didn't need to. Elena's name was suddenly on the technical docs as lead architect. The manufacturer offered her a double role, test pilot and lead engineer on their next-gen platform. "Why me?" she asked. The COO grinned. "Because after today, we'd be idiots not to." At graduation, Brad limped up to the podium. "I wouldn't be alive if not for Elena Cross," he said. "She saved me." The class stood. Applause thundered. Even Radique, for once, seemed humble. He handed Elena her grandfather's wings, polished and gleaming. "You've earned them twice over," he said. Elena was offered the chance to expel the worst offenders. She refused. Let them graduate. Let them remember who they tried to bury and who saved them. Maybe it'll make them better pilots. Maybe better men. Her story went viral. Aviation forums broke down her flight. Hashtags trended. "Wings have no gender. Fly like Elena." Peterson Academy named their new grant after her. 6 months later, she stood before a room of girls, aged 12 to 18, with jets roaring overhead. A teenager asked, "Miss Cross, could I ever fly one of those?" Elena smiled. "Let her hold the silver wings. The sky doesn't care about your gender, only if you're ready. And you will be." That evening, Elena traced her name, now engraved on the F-47, not for revenge, but as proof that excellence outflies prejudice every single time. The hangar echoed with the hum of the next generation rising. True strength isn't about holding others down, it's reaching back so someone else can climb. Now, let me ask you, would you have let those guys graduate, or would you have clipped their wings the way they tried to clip yours? Where do you draw the line between justice and forgiveness? I want to hear your take. Drop in the comments, because this is bigger than any one flight. This is about who gets to write the rules for the sky.